Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
All right, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Don't you miss those days when you could buy tickets in black? You could pay a little extra money and the Panwala would give it to you. Well, thanks to this evil genius called Ashish Hemrajani, I can't do that anymore. So I hate the guy, but we'll still talk to him. This is Ashish Hemrajani from BookMyShow.com on Cyrus Says.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Here on Cyrus Says, I have an interesting question because our cultures are different from anybody else's. And that is when you reach to a person and ask them for a glass of water and they take a sip and then give it to you and you feel uncomfortable drinking it, what happens then? This is what happened to me recently. Do we share the same glass or not? I find it very offensive when the other person takes the glass and puts it 1 inch away from the mouth and takes a sip, which means that they're not comfortable with your mouth touching the glass. Cyrus Says is here to answer the question, should we share the glass or not? I think we should. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Okay, here on Cyrus Says, we meet Ashish Hemrajani, CEO and co-founder of BookMyShow, which obviously everybody knows about. But let's start with the first question. Are you my cousin Ashish? Because I have a cousin whose name is Ashish. He's also Sindhi. Well, he's Parsi Sindhi mix. But, for a minute I got worried. I haven't seen him in years.
No, so a lot of people think, they call me a Parsindi.
Yeah, you look very Parsi. Yeah.
I look Parsi and behave like one.
Yeah.
I went to a Parsi...
What does behave like one? You better be careful what you say.
Not in a bad way.
Okay, go on.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But...
you like the ladies.
I went to a Parsi school. Parsi nursery teacher.
Which school?
Parsi speech teacher. Parsi piano teacher.
Yeah.
I eat dhansak every Wednesday. I sleep in a sadra for the last 25 years.
Which is against the law according to Panchayat.
Yeah,
but they can't find you.
They can't find me. Yeah. So it doesn't get...
Who buys you the sadras?
I have enough friends.
Yeah, you just take it from
and
the
I
house.
like the used ones because they're softer. And then after they're torn...
that's the Sindhi in you.
No.
You
And
want
then
it
after
free
they're torn,
and you want it used.
Yeah, and after they're torn, you can make hung curd and cheese in them. You can clean...
It's very good for cleaning makeup and for coals and all that. The malmal. It's a malmal, same quality. Which school was this?
Manikji Cooper.
Oh, you're a Manikji Cooper boy. Okay, all right. So you're hardcore Baba at the end of the day. All right, we're going to start with this very interesting line of yours, which is that from long time back, what is it, 1999, when you drunk texted your boss that you were quitting.
Yeah.
So take us through that whole story. What were you doing at that point?
Look, my life started with... Book My Show started because of smoking and drinking. I was...
Like many great inventions.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So it was a little different for me because I used to work for J. Walter Thompson. I finished my master's and then I was working for J. Walter Thompson in advertising. And I was enjoying myself. I was having a great stint.
This is when Mike Khanna was there still.
Mike Khanna was there. Anil Bhatia was the head of Bombay office. I was having a blast running my categories. But the issue was everybody smoked in the office. I don't have a problem with people smoking, but just not around me in a closed air-conditioned room.
So you're not a smoker?
I'm not a smoker. You can smoke, that's fine. But I'm a health freak, right?
This was the time when smoking was huge. Like it was
huge.
a cool thing to do.
It was like Mad Men in Bombay,
exactly.
right? Exactly.
We were 30 years behind America. That's your point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
enough.
It was like Mad Men in Bombay. And everybody was smoking. And everybody around me smoked because it was the chai and smoking culture. And it just gets to you if you're not a smoker. And I said, shit, man, I need to go out and take a break. So I went on a 30-day break. I did about 15,000 kilometers backpacking in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana.
Wow.
That's when the idea struck me because I heard a radio commercial. I was with two other friends, my co-founders. They were friends of mine from B School. And I got the business idea under a big tree at Storms River Valley when I was listening to a radio commercial trying to sell rugby tickets online.
Wow.
And I said there's a structural hole in India. We used to go to Sterling, Regal and Metro and these pigeonholes were there, advance and current.
And your hand can't even go through.
Hand can't go through, obviously, because they don't want you to take the money from
Yeah,
the
but that's
till.
ridiculous, because you're trying to do that thing and 15 minutes goes in the exchange. Yeah.
But the box office used to open only at certain times of the day.
Right.
And you'd feel like a man, go with your girlfriend or girlfriend.
And stand in line.
And get screwed over because the guy would say there are no tickets and the panwala opposite is selling it for $400, right?
Yeah.
So it was a really poor experience. There was no democratization of information. There was information arbitrage. There was
What
black
is information
marketing.
arbitrage for the 11-year-olds who hear my show?
So look, they were trying to play on the gap of the lack of information. So what they would do is you would go stand in the line and the guy would say it's house full. There was no information because you couldn't see a seat layout with red seats filled in green seats, and you didn't know if there were any seats. The guy could tell you anything, right?
So they were kidding us.
Of course they were lying.
But in the old days, I thought they'd basically just take it as in when they sold it.
He's already gone and sold half the inventory to the black guy opposite.
All right.
Exactly.
So the real business was the other business.
Exactly.
This is the crap business.
And he's not paying
we were
tax.
the in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So he's not paying tax. He's not paying the distributor share, and he's making money off you.
Yeah.
So I looked at that.
Maybe our Prime Minister was a victim of this, and hence 10 years later he said enough.
Possible.
Demonetization. Huh?
And so then it was sort of playing on my mind, and I continued down my journey and on my backpacking trip, and I went to Cape Town. And, Cape Town has this really nice region called Stellenbosch, which is like the Napa in the US, wine-growing country. And, it's typical of Indians, right? When you have a cutting chai, you drink it in a certain way, or vada pav. But then suddenly you put a red wine glass and everybody's swirling it, and, you can see.
Because we adapt, brother, because we adapt.
Yeah, and you've got to, let the heat go from your hand and all that
pick
bullshit.
it up quick, yeah.
All bullshit. But everybody's drinking it, swirling it, putting it through their palate and teeth and spitting it out. I come from a land of scarcity, and I'm a Sindhi. I'm not wasting no bloody free wine. Kept drinking. By 2 p.m., I was smashed out of my brains. Found myself in a youth hostel on a bunk bed. And that's the time I spent the most expensive SMS of my life to my boss saying, I'm not coming back. I'm quitting. So it started the whole...
This is JWT.
JWT.
Who was the boss?
Vaishali Banerjee.
All right. What is the exact... Because you said drunk testing, so was it full of expletives and all that?
No. I never said drunk texting. I was drunk and I texted her. They're two different things.
Okay.
That's
very... in a sort of clear mind, you texted her and...
Well, I just said, listen, I'm quitting. And I didn't even have a plan, right? I didn't have a business plan. I had nothing. I was just... Like, I want to do that because I heard that radio commercial. There was a structural hole. Here I was with a lot of wine in my system, and I said, I'm quitting. I came back. She was very gracious. She was fantastic. I told her, listen, this is what I want to do. She said, I think you should give it a shot. And that's how I started. I built a business plan. Not a business plan. It was a one...
But this is one night in Zimbabwe or wherever you were, South Africa. Three of you had a discussion about, trying to streamline this whole business of buying and selling tickets.
We spoke in the youth hostel. And nobody took it seriously. But I had already sent that text message. And I came back and I started working on this ASAP. And I was doing this alone. And then Rick joined me a few months later. And after that, Rajesh joined me. So that's how it really started. And when I came back, I sent a single sheet fax. Because at that time, you had the modems for internet and your, email wouldn't go. It would make that sound tee. You remember those days? Like you couldn't even bloody dial up. Yeah. But the fax was faster. So I sent it to Chase Capital Partners, JP Morgan, Bharat Keval Ramani and Anil Ahuja. And they said, sure, we'll invest $500,000. And it was like this boom, man.
Are you serious? Just like that? One email and they said yes?
One fact sheet.
Who's your cousin? Come on, brother, really?
But
it's a kind of idea people just listen to and say, wow, there's something in it.
See, it's not that. You trust the entrepreneur, you believe in an idea, and you believe in how large it can get. And those first principles even are good. And they hold till today. The fact is that sometimes valuations today have gotten far ahead of the metrics. And now it's taking time for the metrics to catch up on the valuations. But that doesn't mean e-commerce is not here to stay or the digital world is not here to stay. And I think at that time, and I truly believe that boom times and pullbacks, or when there's a great pause or a bust, it's good for the ecosystem. Because had there not been...
It cleans out everything.
Had there not been crazy entrepreneurs and crazy investors, crazy ideas would have not got funded and we wouldn't be around today. And you get stronger with every pullback because every time the pullback happens, you start acquiring companies, you start acquiring talent, and you get stronger in a downturn.
But your timing is absolutely bang on because you're at the point when e-commerce is not being taken seriously yet.
Well, the timing, see, that's debatable because from 1999 to 2002, if people are a barometer for success, we went to 150 people. The dot-com bust hit us in 2002 in India. I went from 150 people down to 144, down to 6. I had to let go 144 people, look them in the eye like I am with you right now, and tell them, look, the dream that I sold to you is bullshit, and now it's all over. And I'm gonna negotiate a severance package and pay you guys. I let 144 people off. And I moved from a 2,500 square foot office at Pravadevi, opposite Siddhivinayak, to this place on Turner Road, which was 136 square foot flat, literally with a toilet. And we didn't have money to switch on our electricity and air conditioners in 40 degrees heat in summer. But those are the fun days. We then invested in building the ecosystem from 2002 to 2007. And that's where the market turned again.
So did you get the other guys back, the 144?
7 of them are back with us.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, and I helped place about 50% of those guys in jobs just because it was the right thing to do. It's good karma. And the good part about that is that they're all in the media business and they're all giving business back to us. I didn't do it. I didn't design it like that, but that's how life is.
Okay, so let's go back to 99. So then you got these two guys who jump on board with their money and you started this off. And what was the first thing you did?
The first thing is I built a business plan on a computer that I had at that time. And I started approaching cinemas and I started approaching the government.
All personally?
Personally, obviously. And even the government, because the Cinema Regulation and Telegraphic Act of India hasn't been changed till today. So they specify the gauge of the paper, the gauge of the staple, audit, doorkeeper, patron, counterfoil. You've got to stamp it. There's a DCR and a daily collections and daily sales report. And it is a state-run issue. So I had to go to the government to convince them that this is good for the industry. We've got to automate the box office of a cinema. They specify the box office, where it'll be. And they also specify what tickets you can sell on what day, what the serial number is, etc., etc. So it's a highly regulated industry. To convince them to automate the box office was a big task. That was one. To convince cinemas to say, hey, listen, this is good for the industry. This will help you sell tickets. And they're like, what is the internet, right? There's no penetration for debit card, credit card, net banking. Nobody goes online. Nobody had mobile phones and smartphones that time. And data connections, let alone data connections. So I think it was a lot of education and banging on doors and just being a woodpecker, right? Sorry, I know there are 11-year-olds.
Woodpecker's fine.
So being a woodpecker, you
keep talking with the government again. You're dealing with bureaucrats and all that. So what would you say?
Look, I had a great. And I'm not being politically correct here. I was dealing with a section officer in the government of Maharashtra. He sat down, and I don't know if it's appropriate to take names, but I sat down with him, and he said, "Look, I really like this idea." He said, "Draft me something which I can sell to my bosses." We drafted that. He took that verbatim. He got it through the legislature. It went up that high. After my job was done, because I had convinced him, on Diwali day, I gave him a Nokia 3110 hand phone, which he refused to take. And I said, no, this is a Diwali gift from me.
It's a present.
It's a present. And he finally took it with me badgering him. But it was on the basis of this one section officer. Today we've been able to revolutionize the whole entertainment industry in this country.
Oh, so what you're trying to say is the bureaucracy is not as bad as we think. There are plenty of far-thinking people out there.
Maybe they're far and few in between. We were just fortunate to find the right guy at the right place at the right time.
But today on his Nokia phone, he books on BookMyShow.com.
Well, it's a 3110 old Nokia phone. I'm sure he can't even sell it for $50 as junk.
Those phones work better than the present ones from what I gather. So. Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break. Ashish, when we come back, we'll talk about the growth of BookMyShow, where it is right now and how the world has changed from 99 to 2016 and what's going to come next.
Sure.
Ashish is with us. It's called Cyrus Says. You want to book? Book now.
What's the best new restaurant in town?
Which bar sucked?
What's the worst new Hindi film?
What's the most obscure thing to do on the weekend?
And what's the most interesting new walking tour?
If you want to know how to make the most of Bombay, listen to the Podcast by thedailypow.com. We are Pranati,
Amit,
and Purva.
We're your guide to what to do, see, and eat in the city. You can find new episodes of the Podcast every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer, and on thedailypow.com.
All right, back here with Ashish Hemrajani, who is the CEO of BookMyShow.com, which now every kid knows. It's amazing. Even my children, hey, Daddy, I want to see this. Oh, no, just get on BookMyShow.com. It's certainly not culturally in the last 3 or 4 years. It's like an iconic presence in our lives, for urban Indians at least. Everywhere around India, they use BookMyShow.com. It's just the way it is. Did you, I mean, you obviously did have an idea this is going to happen, but this success has come pretty fast, actually, all said and done.
It hasn't. It's been bloody 18 years now. I was 24 in 1999 when I founded the company with black hair, and I was a little grey. And as they say, when you hit your 40s, water seeks its own level. That's like hair seeks its own level.
Right.
It goes from places you don't want it to and comes from places
You're telling me I'm a little older than you.
So anyways, look, I started this when I was 24 in 1999. It's been 18 years. It's been
then you had that bust
journey.
as well in 2002 or a little later than that.
Correct.
And then you came back again, you know.
See, the market turned in 2007. And,
when you say turned, are we going negative again?
Positive. In the sense that you had credit cards, the penetration had improved. There was net banking, there was debit cards. People were now buying online.
But there was also a worldwide recession in terms of buying.
That was 2008.
2008, yeah.
Which is when the GFC happened. But in 2007, the markets were just picking up and the digital revolution had started. This is what you call Web 2.0, right? And in 1999, 2002, when the bust happened, it was all B2B and B2C, which is what? business to consumers, business to banking?
I
No.
hope you can answer it because I can't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was back to banking and back to consultancy.
Oh, is it?
Because the markets had gone bust and everybody was going back to consultancy and banking. In 2007, this was in the first month I sold 1,000 tickets. And this was for something, which was a movie called Chakte. But the good part,
hockey film.
The metric was that 50% of these tickets came from a desktop. And from 1999 to 2002, 98% tickets came on the call center. People would call on the call center, we would home deliver tickets and collect cash. It was the first COD home delivery system in the world, which BookMyShow ran. COD, what you see today, was something that it was done to death and we closed it. We've never done COD again, which was 1999 to 2000.
But thank God you did, because now there's no cash.
No, it's a hugely inefficient model. So in 2007, when we saw this feedback, this metric that 50% of the customers are now buying on the web, we knew we were onto something. And then we were very early on to catch each wave. See, every business, there is there's this osmosis, right? You'll see these waves of peaks and troughs which will come back. It's about catching. As a surfer, I sail boats, so I know a little bit of wind and waves. But
you're going faster than me. So you sail boats as in your real life.
Yeah, on the weekends.
Yeah, okay.
My real life is BookMyShow. My real life is the weekend. My real life is everything. And I mean, all of this is real. So now, when you look at a surfer and you look at a wave, either you catch the wave at the wrong time and you get slammed, right? And you'll never recover. Which is somebody like a Kodak. Sorry to use a brand name, but Kodak, right? They just missed it.
Yeah.
Kodak is the one who didn't catch the wave. And if you miss the wave, you just don't ride it and you're screwed. If you go and you get slammed, you'll never recover. It's about getting the timing right. And if you catch the wave the right time and you do it 8 out of 10, you have a phenomenal sort of ride to the shore. And I think it's about catching these waves which keep coming. The ecosystem and the environment will keep changing around you. It's not constant. It's about when do you time yourself on certain things. We timed ourselves on the mobile application, maybe just as the wave was kicking in. Today, 75% of BookMyShow's entire revenue and business line comes from mobile handsets. So we caught the mobile handset much early on. So our next bet and trend is around payments, around chat, around a couple of these sort of things, where I think will probably be one of the next waves. So we're investing our time in all of those.
You look at the demonetization we're sitting on right now as we speak, it's probably helped you. Because now everybody just looking at the future and everything will be done online. I mean, so BookMyShow will monopolize the business.
See, to an extent, it does help digital companies. Let me not say that it doesn't. And we have seen an increase in our penetration because of the demonetization. But you know what's also happened is that the mindset currently is a little negative. People don't want to spend right now. They're a little concerned about...
Because you're all scared about people knowing our credit card numbers.
No, I don't think so. A lot of people have 1 lakh sort of limits on their cards and they want to sort of fulfill their daily needs with that cash. Also, the mindset is slightly on a reverse thrust. When you land in a plane and there's a reverse thrust that you put in along with the brakes, I think people have applied the brakes for now. They don't want to do too many discretionary spends. They're a little concerned about what next. I think there will be hockey stick growth, which you will see over the next 2 to 3
quarters. Okay, Master, what is hockey stick growth?
Where it sort of takes a slump, which we're seeing right now.
And then goes up.
And then it'll shoot high.
Oh.
So it's the small curve of the hockey which dips and then you see a big spike, which is the handle.
Do you have any competitors?
Look, when I started in 99, I had about 20 competitors.
You've killed most of them.
I haven't killed. We're damn good at what we do. I don't kill people. We're just good at what we do.
Their families are starving, Ashish Hemrajani.
Look, that's not my problem.
But they have to book for movies through you. That's the worst part.
Well, at least
that really pains them. Yeah. Fair enough.
So, look, I just believe that you've got to focus on the quality of your input and the results is something that you shouldn't be focusing on.
Okay, I'll move a little bit left now towards your music festival sort of avatar as well. One of the things you back are music festivals. Is this correct? This is what we've researched. So, and you were part of the Coldplay experience?
So, look, BookMyShow is just not about movie ticketing. That's what gives you the volumes. But we do ISL, Kabaddi League, ISL, which is a soccer league. We're doing the current series for the England tour. We do a lot of IPL. Those are all my customers and clients. And we've been, live events is a big sort of part of our repertoire. We're also in the genres of theatre. So we do Prithvi Theatre, NCPA, Stomp, which is happening, Ashwin Gidmani's event. Yeah. We had Mughal-e-Azam. All of that is BookMyShow. So we do more than 2,000 events a month, which are non-movie events, right? And so Coldplay, obviously, the whole Global Citizen, along with Viscraft and the Jun guys, we worked very closely with them. So we had a huge number of people that came in. The concert was a success. This is season time for us. We've been associated with Sunburn for 10 years now. I remember year one, we sold 1,400 tickets, which was nothing. And now you sell, millions of tickets. So
now you run out of tickets and you probably have to start the black market all on your own just to survive. Yeah, so it's been a huge journey. What next for BookMyShow.com? What else do you want to do?
Look, I think it's very difficult to extract revenue out of consumers in India. You go to the US or you go to any mature market, the scale is much higher. The purchasing power capability is much higher. And also, the quantum of people is much higher. So even though we say we are a 1.2 billion market, if you see there are only 900 million handsets, 300 million smartphones, 200 million data connections, growing very rapidly. There are only 25 million credit cards which are owned by 15 million people. There are only 450 to 500 million bank accounts. So this country, the top 20% controls about 45 to 50% of the wealth, and the bottom 40% controls about 5% of the wealth. So it really hurts this whole sort of...
so you need the growth to be all over at the same time.
So we've started at the top. And what we're doing is we're building a lot of things around content within BookMyShow. So we've got this review and rating platform. If you see, it's a user-generated review. It's
you basically send your opinion.
Yeah, it's got a definitive review and rating system today. So people and users now believe our rating system more than anything that comes out in the newspapers or through critics, because this is what the user is saying. And it's become the definitive review and rating system. We've got content around movies now, which we've put into BookMyShow. We're doing something on the audio side. We're doing something on the video side. So there's a lot of work that we're doing to just create stickiness with our users. That's one. But more importantly, and I want to sort of take a minute or so on that, is what should be the goals and the metrics of a company, right? Everybody talks about this valuation and unicorns. I think it's the most bloody ugly animal on earth, and it doesn't exist, right?
It's a myth.
It doesn't exist. And then the light at the end of the tunnel, and there are investors that talk about land grab and market share, and those same guys are talking about EBITDA and PAT positive and profitability and light at the end of the tunnel. All of this is bullshit. It's fluff. Internet businesses are here to stay and here to grow. That's a reality. It's not a myth. You've got to build it like any other business. Technology is going to power every business, and that's the backbone. We're in the internet entertainment services business for entertainment. Technology just happens to power us, right? You'll see that in media, technology powers every business. It is their bloody job to get technology to power their business. But what is the important metric for us? We saw this diverse wealth in India, and it really hurts. BookMyShow, and this is not a recruitment for people, but I just want to let you know, outside of your cost to company, BookMyShow covers every single employee, their spouse, their parents, and 2 children for medical claim expenses. We run a food program in the company where we all pay a premium. People below a certain salary pay half of that, and all the support staff, which can afford only 2 vada pavs in a day, pay 20 rupees to get a full buffet meal, and they're supposed to eat on the same tables as us.
Non-veg or veg?
Non-veg twice a day, veg 3 times a week.
Oh, damn it.
And we also run something called Book a Smile. Now, if you've noticed, we take 1 rupee a ticket when you're doing a transaction.
Right.
Actually, it should be an opt-in, right? I know it's not the right thing to do, but it's for the right intent.
You extort 1 rupee one way or the other.
We
and
take
it goes to
1
charity.
rupee, which is opt-out.
Yeah.
We collect a couple $1 million a year just by consumers putting 1 rupee a ticket. We sent a kid to the Pan Am Games in Canada, double amputee. He won the silver medal. We sent girls from Yuva who went and played in the US, and we support Yuva. We support Magic Bus. We support charities. We got Salman to come and spend 45 minutes with kids.
But do you support
PVR.
Salman?
No, he came for that for his movie release, Sultan.
Yeah,
So we do a lot of work, and these for us, this what we do around the mission that we've set for ourselves are the right metrics for any business. And the quality of your input has to be high. You've got to be able to build and bridge this gap, and charity begins at home. And once you do this, I think, valuations, profit, money, all of that is a byproduct of all of this. I mean, we just spend too much time on this stuff.
Okay, just give me one quick prediction. You mentioned America being a little different from us in the sense of the reach is much more for internet companies to exploit in a sense. But do you think in 10 years, maybe 5-10 years down the line, do you think this market is going to be? People keep talking about the great Indian explosion. Do you think it's going to explode, and you're going to have so many more people who can afford to use credit cards and who will be using people like you?
Oh, certainly. I mean, I think, look. And I'm a real guy, right? Let's forget all these data points. Let's look at drivers, right? They used to get a 6,000 rupee salary not very far ago, 3 years ago. Today, all of them demand a 17 to 18,000 salary because Uber and Ola are sucking away drivers. I'm very proud of that. It's amazing. You talk to any of these drivers, the first thing that they do, they're the emerging middle class. 20,000 bucks a month. He'll tell you, look, I'm putting better food on the table. I want to educate my child so that he doesn't become a driver, and better healthcare. I think this is the emerging middle class. They all have smartphones. They all have data connections. They all have wait time because they're waiting for you and me.
And they're living on the internet.
Yeah, and they're watching some product, right, on the internet. That is the emerging middle class. But the metric for him, he's got the information, he's got a device which gives him business today, and he's earning 3 times of what he was. I'm extremely proud of that revolution which the internet world has brought to people through democratization and increase in revenues. And I think that's something to be proud of. Now, whether they become consumers of BookMyShow, we make money, all of that is a byproduct. It's secondary.
Yeah, but it'll be a cashless society. It looks like it's on the cards, whether you like it or not.
Certainly, because it's more efficient. Today, when you look at e-commerce, the real estate costs in this country, because we have 3% landmass with 17% population, just doesn't justify the returns on ROI on the rental. And therefore, that's why internet companies are going to reap huge dividends purely because they can erode that entire cost structure in between and still deliver the product to you.
All right, Ashish, before we let you go, we'll just take a break from the hugely profitable business that is BookMyShow.com and tell us about your hobbies and how you unwind. What's the Ashish at home like?
Look, for me, Monday mornings are as exciting as Friday evenings. We do chips and dip and beer on our terraces. We have yoga classes 3 times a week. We have a Vedanta class on Tuesdays, which is a philosophy class. Adi Kalyaniwala, another Parsi, who is our mentor, who comes in. So for us, and me specifically, and a lot of us, going to work is not, you don't get wound up going to work. I enjoy what I do for 18 years. The day I stop enjoying this, I'll stop doing it. So Monday mornings and Friday evenings are a balance. I look forward to my weekends. I do not work on Saturday, Sunday. I've never worked for the last 18 years. I race boats on the weekend in the Bombay Harbour. I'm a member of the club. I have a Hansi 325. We have a BMC race that happens, the Bombay Mercantile Club, every Saturday. And we're a nice bunch of sort of group of sailors, and it's a lot of fun. I work out, I swim, and I go to the gym. I'm a huge music buff. Tambourine Man hasn't changed on my ringtone, not because he won the Nobel. Yeah, but it's been the same ringtone for 19 years. I love.
You don't know much about drugs.
Well,
Book My Show actually happened, sort of. It was a drunken night, yeah.
I listen to Kings of Leon and Dave Matthews Band and all of that. So that's my sort of CCR. That's sort of my interest, and I love music. I've got Sonos all over my home. And it's sailing, it's gym, it's that. I've got a 4.5-year-old, Zahan. Another very Baba-sounding name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And so I love spending time with him and, his swimming lessons. He comes sailing on Sundays. I mean, that's what I do on the weekends. So it's not about unwinding, but that's what I do on the weekends. This is what I do on the weekdays. It's as simple as that. I enjoy both.
All right, Ashish, BookMyShow.com, doing well. Hopefully we'll get equity from it because we're promoting this as much as we can. But before we let you go, we have a thing called the AMA, where May will come and speak to us over things which make no sense whatsoever.
Okay.
So just stay where you are.
Sure.
Hello there, my name is Naveen Narona, and as a gay person in India, I get asked a lot of stupid questions.
Beta, is it LGBT or eligibility?
How do 2 men procreate?
Bro, is Grindr better than Tinder or what?
We answer all these questions and much more on my podcast, Keeping It Queer, where I talk to individuals from the LGBT community in India and learn about their personal stories. Catch all the episodes on the IVM podcast app or any other podcasting app you like. Till then, keep it queer.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, May's in. May, you got a question?
I got
this
questions.
man is
I got
sitting
so
on
many
crores and
questions.
crores of rupees. You be nice to him. Yeah.
I have to?
You don't have to.
No? Do I have to? Is that what I'm supposed to be told?
Is that your question?
No. I'm just asking if I'm supposed to be nice people
Go on.
with crores.
Hit him. He's ready. He's ready. Hit him with the most
that is not
question.
an important metric at all.
I know it isn't. I always look at about how people treat
I still don't know what a metric is. I'm trying to figure it out. I couldn't Google because we don't have Wi-Fi.
I know. For me, it's about how people treat you. That's how it should be, right?
True.
He seems nice enough. Yeah. I've met him before. Came to Radio 1 a couple of times. You on Rashi's show.
That's
so I used to do the afternoon show.
Absolutely, yes.
So, such a long time ago. So, question for you, Ashish. Why are so many startups failing?
More companies die out of indigestion than starvation. I think they're overcapitalized. They all think that money is the only solution to all problems. It's a part of the solution. Also, it's being driven by the mentality of entrepreneurs today where they say, hey, listen, I'm starting a company to exit and what's my valuation going to be? He's not bothered about what is it in it for the user, what problem are you trying to solve, how long are you going to do it, how passionate you are about it. You think the guy that started Coke and McDonald's said, what's my valuation and when am I going to exit? Or the guy that started Levers, the guy that started Chrysler Corporation. So I think it's bullshit, the metrics. They're reading these newspapers, they're looking at media, and they're saying, look, I can get rich fast. There are other ways. You can go and bust a bank and you'd get rich faster. But I just don't think that this is the metric for that. So I think it's their mindset is different, and that's one of the problems. And also I think a lot is to be blamed to investors who, look at a boom cycle and they push entrepreneurs to get onto a treadmill and run at 10 kilometers an hour and make them do stupid stuff, right? You should do this, you should do this, you should do this, hire these guys.
Yeah.
If you are not making money and your revenues are under pressure, what business do you have to hire a guy with a salary of 2 crores and 4 crores? You will never make money, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's where the problem is. So I think it's a compounding problem, but it's not something that you can solve. And there are great entrepreneurs who have done phenomenally well in creating great enterprise and creating so much value in this country over the last few years. So I think you can't color everybody with the same brush stroke, but yeah, you're right. This is an important question to ask.
And just for the record, satisfyingoldladies.com, which I started with Amit out there, that's doing really well.
What about
and we weren't trying to just flip it. We want to satisfy old ladies. So our dream and our valuation will be good at the end of this day. Sorry, go on.
I want to know more about the old ladies.
Satisfyoldladies.com. Huge market. Huge market. BookMyShow is getting interested.
I love it. Talking about treadmills and things like that. And old
If you're
ladies.
selling time slots, we'll book them for you.
There you go. Yeah. He doesn't care.
I'll sell anything.
He's just
Book with
selling.
us. If you want to book a session with a new lady, BookMyShow.com.
No, the old ladies get us.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the whole
sorry.
website, you idiot.
So the old ladies had to book them. That's
Yes.
what you got to do.
Yes, he's just the middle guy. He's fine.
BookMyStud.com.
Yeah. Let's not oversell, bro. That's how you're doing well, but you never oversold. Next
question. Actually, you know what? Talking about busting banks. Yesterday, I went to get a shawarma, right? And I had to break a 2,000 rupee note. The guy was nice enough to break my 2,000. I was the only
it's like
paying.
$1,900 back, something like that.
Yeah, no, 1,500. So
That's an expensive shawarma. Anyway.
Really?
no, I bought more than one.
Did you get the guy with the
Diamonds on it
shawarma?
and-
The guy and the shawarma?
No.
No.
And when I came out, because obviously this other dude saw me, and I, when someone looks at you like they're going to steal your purse, right? But now it's like, I'm not going to steal your purse for how much money's in it, just for the change. I just need the change.
Right.
I don't care about the actual amount of money in your purse.
Exactly.
Because I think that's what it's like now.
Yeah.
People just need change.
It was all going to help him in the end of the day, because not just him. I think cash is just going to go. Not immediately. It'll take time, but I think it's going to go.
It's just really badly done.
I think more than cash going, I think the inclusiveness on the amount of money that has to come back into the system is extremely important. I think a lot of the rich guys who had cash have already figured out how to sort of flip
Clean
it,
it,
etc., and all of
whatever.
that. But I think it's important that it all gets sort of back into the books, and that's the big issue. How much of it is eventually cash? How much is digital? Of course, digital will help, but I think we need the infrastructure to quickly get people to sort of.
And that's the problem. There isn't any way to make that shift. And
It's really the really poor
badly
guys that are
implemented.
struggling,
Of course.
and the accounts need to be open. Jan Dhan, like today was a struggle, right? All the maids need to be paid. All the help at home needs to be paid.
Exactly.
They're taking money in their friend's name, in their husband's name, etc., etc. Because so many of these ladies don't have bank accounts. I think if this is a catalyst and a trigger for that to happen, that to me is a phenomenal story. It's not about the change.
Creating bank accounts.
Imagine this woman who was not inclusive in this economy in this country.
Didn't exist. She was not inclusive.
Her husband had the account, the son had the account, whoever had the account. She works. She makes the 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Doesn't even have a bank account. Doesn't know her rights. Today with this, her rights will be known. Because the guy can say, listen, because you're making so much money, I can give you a loan. You can do this. You have rights. You can go and get a
She's the
cylinder.
key man in Key Man Insurance. Going forward. Where she was the invisible man.
It's amazing.
Okay, next question. What is the cheapest delicacy you would like to indulge in Bombay?
Cheapest delicacy. It's like a paradox. delicacy and cheapest.
Yeah.
I like all street food, so I'm okay. I can eat anything. I like my baida rolls from Badi Mia, going back in the 80s when we used to sit outside.
I was having a mad pani puri craving.
I love pani puri. I love chaat. I love all that. I don't know. Let's give this to Ashish, the Jew boy. They've got a similar experience on Jew chapati and areas like that.
No, but Jew chapati.
Anymore?
I'll be going to the dock for the next 2 weeks, man.
Shouldn't fire by the end of it.
I'll be making delicacies which nobody would want to smell, man. I mean, if I go to Jew chapati. But having said that, look, it's a craving that you have. Vada pav is phenomenal. Growing up in Bombay. The chaat on the streets is great. But, I sometimes...
How do we pay them?
How do you pay them? Right? But, some of these guys are incredible.
They're like... Paytm is happening.
Paytm!
Either that or you do an IMPS, you do a UPI, they'll give you a bank account.
I think Mumbai is moving fast, as far as I can see.
Yeah, because it's traditionally... been a society where there is cash, but the guy's not trying to jip. The guy still writes a bill.
It's serious
Markets
business.
like Delhi is a huge problem because they just don't want to account for anything.
No, Bombay is
They've not
good.
heard of tax.
People,
This is another world altogether.
Like, we want to pay and they will take the money. We will find ways.
Listen, your local ganna juice guy or nariyal guy makes a lot of money per day.
I have ganna
Seriously.
juice every Saturday right opposite the Royal Bombay Yacht Club. There's that guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God, that is just so good. That is a craving. That is an indulgence.
Ganna juice.
Yeah.
$10 a glass now.
No, it's much more, boss.
Can I do it on BookMyShow.com?
He should actually.
You should.
After we come back from a race and you're like dehydrated and you go have that.
You owe this guy. You'll make his business boom.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want Ganna juice.
All right. That's all we have time for. Ashish has to go.
Okay.
Yeah. See you. Thank you, Ashish.
All right. Great. Lovely.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called me.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Never before in the history of radio, television, film or dance bars has there been a show like The Seen and the Unseen. Well, it's mostly about the scene because who knows what the unseen is. And it's a podcast hosted by Amit Verma. Check out new episodes on our IVM podcast apps. Happy listening, mother and fathers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out IVM Podcasts to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.